Students, develop the green buildings and constantly promote green low-carbon development and promote the harmony between man and nature. The prefabricated building responds positively to the National Green Building Development Strategy. In such a background, we should keep pace with the times. Please follow the teacher to open the door of prefabricated learning. The next knowledge point will be explained by enterprise teacher Mr. Zhang Lingyi.
Hello everyone. This section we come to learn the prefabricated concrete building in the cross-frame prefabricated concrete composite slab Venn diagram. This explanation is based on the drawing set 15G366-1 cross-frame reinforced concrete composite slab. This drawing set mainly includes 3 types of cross-frame reinforced concrete composite slab. Then this one is our reference set. 3 types, namely two-way base slab, breeder slab, two-way base slab, medium slab, and one-way slab, base slab. Then, we first look at the rebar cross-frame reinforced concrete. Composite slab is a number of the actual reading. We can see the left side here, two-way slab number. The two-way slab number is generally DBS if you start by hand. DBS stands for our bidirectional version of the acronym. The X after the DBS represents a type of our composite slab. Then, two-way bottom slab is divided into side slab and middle slab. If it is 1, then it is the side slab. If it is 2, it is middle slab with 2X. The first X indicates the thickness of the prefabricated base slab, the thickness of the composite slab. We need to pay attention to its unit dose is centimeters. The X behind is to indicate the thickness of a post-glue laminated. Then we generally have 60 and 70 thickness of prefabricated bottom slab. Then of course, here is 6 and 7. These 4 X's in the middle are denoted by the first 2 X's denoting the sign span, and the last 2 X's indicate the width of the sign. Then they are measured in dm, then in centimeter. For example, if my sign span on its side is 3000 millimeter, then the sign span displayed here, it will be written as 30. Then we say the back of the 2X. Here is the bottom slab span and width direction of a rebar code. This can be seen specifically in our table below. If it corresponds to 11, then its span direction, rebar is 4. The diameter of 8, spacing 200 to place. The width direction is also the diameter of 8, spacing 200 to place. Then specifically, according to our matching goal, and then against the table to derive our number 1 and number 2 rebar. That is, in the direction of our width and span, a diameter of the rebar and its spacing. Then finally, there is a delta. Delta for the adjustment of the width, because we set is a part of reference set. Because when our actual project in the split, even after setting a magic, there is no way to ensure that each time a splitting of the construction of rebar cross-frame composite slab, its span and width correspond to the numbers in our sets. So we have to set an adjustment width here, which according to our actual project, on deepening the design of a situation to special treatment. So let's look at the right side of the one-way slab number. One-way slab number is DBD, and the two-way slab then, more than the last. The last letter, as indicates that the two-way slab, the initials of the one-way slab spelling DBD behind the thickness of the prefabricated base slab. Or you can say the thickness of a stacked composite. The same is counted in centimeters. The middle 4 axes indicate the sign span and the sign width is to go to the count in millimeters. The last is the base slab span directions. Rebar code. Unlike the two-way slab designation, one-way slab of the code is only 1 to 4. Single letters. For example, We say here 2 and 2 represent the diameter of 8, spacing of 150. Then the distribution of rebar is 6 diameter, spacing of 200. Then our rebar cross-frame composite slab. The way of code is like this. Then all of our drawings numbered in the project will also be set according to such technical requirements. So, after talking about the number of the cross-frame reinforced concrete composite slab, we come to a specific composite slab in the set to the structure of knowledge. Then you can look at it. This is a complete reneed in the construction plant production of a combination of slab details. It is divided into the mold diagram with the goal diagram and the corresponding material breakdown. Then we go to the basic construction with the first batch of Zone 6 730211 composite slab in the figure set. Then, through the number, we can know that this composite slab is a two-way slab of the bottom slab. One represents that it is the side slab. Then we first look at its width direction. Its width direction, making a line spacing from the center line to the seam positioning line, is 1,200 millimeters. It's two sides of the seam positioning line. We can see through here, the lower side is 90 millimeters. The upper side is 150 millimeters. The actual width of its concrete slab is 960 millimeters. Then we look at the length, the direction. Both sides of the slab to the production of the center line are 90. And here you can obviously see the top of this picture. Its top and bottom left and right four sides, respectively, there is a triangle. At the same time, there is a claw inside the triangle. This represents the four sides, as well as the following 1-1 section above. Also has a triangle with C, which represents the four sides, as well as the top surface are required for the production of rough surface. Then this triangle with M below represents the bottom surface below as a formwork surface above the mold platform, while its prefabricated concrete thickness is 60 millimeters. Then in fact, we can also see through the numbering, 6-7, its precast thickness is 6 centimeters. Back focus thickness is 7 centimeters. Let's take a look at the construction of its rebar. First of all, two cross-frame rebar is arranged along the length. Then this cross-frame rebar is 180 millimeters from the edge of this slab. The distance between the center of the cross-frame is 600 millimeters, and the right side of this side is 3/200, adding up to 600. Then the distance at the top of rebar frame reinforced concrete one edge is 50 millimeters. Let's take a look at the same time. The relationship between the up and down, the location of the bar, through the base slab with gold watch. We can see the cross-frame reinforced number has a total of 3 dimensions. Respectively is rebar number 1, the number 2, and number 3. Number 1 rebar in the composite slab was a hook. It is the case with steel hook, we generally called rebar number 1. Number 2, rebar is straight rebar without hook. Rebar number 3, usually as a fringe of number 1 rebar. Rebar is also without hook. It directly belongs to a diameter. Then what is the relationship between the upper and lower position of it? Because we prefabricated slab rebar, it is a hole in the shape of mesh. According to our placement rules, its width direction, the horizontal rebar, is at the bottom. Then that means the first rebar is at the bottom. And then the length direction is the second rebar. The second rebar is at the upper end of the first rebar. Then the lower rebar of the cross-frame rebars. and the second rebar of the horizontal rebar is the same layer, meaning that the cross-frame rebars and the second rebar are on the same plane. Usually, after the second rebar is placed, we then place the cross-frame rebars. Then we next look at a view related to the piece of a rebar. Then, the first is a slab rebar in the width direction. We generally call it the first rebar. Through the drawing above, we see the first rebar its spacing of 200 mm, where it is the leftmost width direction of the slab rebar. The distance from the edge of the slab is indicated as A1. The right side is indicated as A2, then A1, A2, respectively, can be seen on the bottom slab parameters table. The left side, A1, is 130 mm. The right side, A2, is 90 mm. Then in the case of making one side, it has an outreach length of 90. On the other side, it has an outreach length of 290. Then 290 mm outreach length. We're able to see on the drawing the adjustment factor of its delta, the adjustment of a width, because it is a drawing, so that we do not need to add the width of the adjustment. The extension length 290 mm, while the extension length of 290 mm is required to make a hook of 135 degrees. Then the length of the bend hook, according to our requirements, is 5 times the D. Then it is necessary to bend out 40 mm. Then look at the first rebar on the same side of the left and right. According to the requirements of the structure, we need to add a third rebar. Then the third rebar is generally called the first rebar of the edge of the rebar. Generally, the third rebar is about 25 mm from the edge of the slab. Then, it usually does not extend, it's not outward, more than one on each side. Let's look at the arrangement of the slab rebar in the length direction. In the length direction, slab rebar arrangement, generally from the edge of the slab at 25 mm, and not repeated at the cross frame. That is, we often seen the cross frame range of the second rebar is omitted and arranged. In the middle of the two cross frames, we are arranged with a spacing of 200 mm. Then the length direction slab goes on both sides. It is the support outreach of 90 mm. This time we slab literacy explanation ends here.
Thank you all. This is the explanation of the knowledge points in this subsection in the course of Technical Regulations for Prefabricated Concrete Structures. We wish you a happy learning journey.